Hello and welcome to the 16th edition of Marex Maritime News. Viewers, thank you so much for your overwhelming response to our weekly edition of the Marex News Bulletin. Your continued support and patronage right through the past 4 months have indeed enthused our editorial and production teams to present before you this weekly edition every Monday, right through the ongoing pandemic lockdown. Members of the Team Marex have continued to work from their home tirelessly to serve you and keep you updated with the latest developments of the maritime world. Let's begin with the headlines this Monday, 1st June 2020. MASA and FOSMA to operate chartered flights for crew transfers. The Caravelle Group Hong Kong donates stupendous ₹3 crores to PM Cares. Seafarers Welfare Fund Society to grant cash to COVID-19 seafarers victim. SCI back in black, revenues up by 14.27%. And now the news in detail. Leading Indian maritime associations, MASA and FOSMA, have sought the permission of the DG Shipping India to operate 4 chartered flights from New Delhi to Doha on behalf of the ship manning sector. Leading travel partner ATPI will handle the ticketing of these Indian seafarers who are assigned to fly out of India on these chartered flights to board vessels across the globe. MASA CEO Captain Shiv Halpe spoke to Marex.
Relief of Indian seafarers has been permitted on the Indian coast via an order issued by Ministry of Home Affairs in April 2020. This has resulted in a significant number of Indian seafarers being relieved, and not only that, with the support of the Director General of Shipping, even crew changes at anchorages have been permitted. This also benefited a number of Indian seafarers because their operators could divert the ships to these anchorage ports for crew change, and some of the ports in South India have even achieved as high as 100 crew changes per day, which in normal times also they were not doing. So movement of Indian seafarers has commenced, and over the past 2 months as many as more than 5,000 Indian seafarers have signed on and 7,000 odd seafarers signed off. This is a significant achievement. However, that excludes Indian seafarers whose ships are operating in areas outside the Asian subcontinent, and something needs to be done to relieve them as well. MASA and FOSMA, the two leading industry associations, took the decision to charter 4 flights, 4 out and 4 in, the intention being to set up a rota system to relieve the Indian seafarers. So we will have outward flight on the 3rd and an inward flight on the 7th, and so on. And with the support of the Director General of Shipping and the other concerned ministries, we are sincerely very hopeful that this system will be put in place and we will be able to bring back our seafarers who have completed their tours of duty and should be back with their families. Let's hope for the best.
FOSMA, along with MASA, has been working very closely with the Director General of Shipping's office, along with Ministry of External Affairs and DGCA. We've partnered with travel providers ATPI in starting of charter flights from India to Doha, and then from Doha connecting seafarers worldwide. It's an ongoing effort, and we hope to get the necessary approval soon. And we would like to once again thank all our seafarers who during these difficult times have kept the world economy going. And we want to assure them that the best is being done by FOSMA, by MASA, by the Indian shipping industry to make sure that they come back to their loved ones at the earliest.
With the government announcing the 1.0 unlockdown on the 31st of May, what better day would it be for the maritime industry that the first chartered flight took off from Mumbai to Doha, carrying 63 seafarers from 6 shipping companies to 4 destinations globally. The whole concept of our charter was conceived about a week back. Captain Sanjay Parashar of VR Maritime and myself decided to embark on this journey of chartering flights to bring back seafarers who were stuck globally over the past 60 days. The whole idea was to bring them back to their families, at the same time make arrangements so that seafarers could go on board to relieve them. This was only possible with the absolute help of the Director General of Shipping, the Ministry, without which the permissions would not have been in place in such a short time. This again has also opened doors to various associations and organizations to charter flights which have been allowed officially by the government. MASA and FOSMA have done a wonderful job, and they have 3 flights fixed for the 3rd, 7th and the 11th of June from Delhi to Doha. We expect in the coming week to have more flights out of Bombay, Cochin and Chennai to destinations like Doha, Colombo and Kuala Lumpur to felicitate this sign-on and sign-off and bring back stranded seafarers from various locations.
Headed by Kashti Ratna, Mr. Harry Banga, Hong Kong headquartered maritime conglomerate, the Caravel Group has donated a stupendous rupees 3 crores to PM CARES.
The fund was collectively raised by the company and its officers along with its sailing staff. Mr. Banga, Mr. Kishore Rajvanshi and Mr. Angad Banga handed over the check last Friday to Ms. Priyanka Chauhan, Consulate General of India in Hong Kong. An autonomous body under the administrative control of the Indian Ministry of Shipping, the Seafarers Welfare Fund Society, has recently launched a welfare scheme called SWFS, Novel COVID-19 Assistance Scheme for the Indian Seafarers. Effective till 31st December 2020, the scheme will provide financial assistance up to Rs 1 lakh to coronavirus affected Indian seafarers and their family members in case they are admitted for treatment in any COVID notified hospital in the country. In case of death of any seafarer due to coronavirus, the society will provide financial assistance of up to Rs 2 lakh to the next of kin of the seafarer.
In these circumstances, the Seafarers Welfare Fund Society, of whose chairman, the Director General of Shipping is the chairman, they have announced a scheme for assisting the seafarers and their family members in case they test positive. The SWFS, the Seafarers Welfare Fund Society, has set aside a fund of 12 crore rupees for medical assistance of the seafarer and their family members. It will cover all ranks of seafarers, retired, medically unfit, and the widows of the seafarer, the spouse of the seafarers, and all ranks. And in case, unfortunately, the seafarer is test positive, then the seafarer can take treatment, and they can keep a track of their medical bills. And as per the guidelines which is there on the DG Shipping website, that is dgshipping.gov.in, they can go through, the details are there of that particular scheme. And it is also open to the family members of the seafarer, the spouse of the seafarer, first of all the seafarer, the spouse of the seafarer, their children and dependent parents can also avail this benefit. And it is open to those seafarers holding Indian CDCs and who have last gone through a registered RPS. That is the scheme it is. And to the extent of 50% of their medical expenses which they spend, or Rs 1 lakh, whichever is less, the seafarer can claim the benefit. And unfortunately, if the seafarer expires because of COVID related issue, then the family members of that seafarer will get Rs 2 lakhs.
Especially the seafarers are going through very difficult times. People are waiting on ships for months together for their sign-off, and are people waiting for months together at home for their sign-on. They are facing very critical economic as well as health issues. We welcome the decision of Seamen Welfare Fund Society to provide the aid of Rs 1 lakh to the seafarers and their families if they are affected by the disease, and to provide the help of Rs 2 lakhs if seafarer or their families are diseased because of COVID-19. We congratulate Honorable Minister Shri Mansukh Bhai Mandavia on this decision. We also appeal them to take control of all the funds which are being deposited with various unions and organizations in the name of seafarers welfare funds, because the times ahead are very critical and there has to be efforts from every corner of the society to bring the situation back on track.
State-owned The Shipping Corporation of India Limited recently announced their financial results for the last quarter and the financial year that ended on 31st March 2020. For the full year, the company reported a net profit of Rs 336.48 crores for the year that ended on March 2020, as against to a net loss of Rs 62.66 crores that the company had reported in the previous year that ended in March 2019. Sales rose 14.27% to Rs 4425.44 crores in the year that ended March 2020, as against Rs 3872.85 crores reported in the previous year. The company has recommended a final dividend of Rs 0.75 per share of face value of Rs 10 each.
Well, what very clearly emerges by any standard is a phenomenal performance by the company. As you know, SCI is not only the largest but also the most diversified shipping company, and we operate in all the 4 segments. The tanker division of the company is by far the largest division going by the fleet size, and this leap that you see both in terms of the total revenue as well as the operating revenue is very clearly attributable to this largest division of the company. Consequently, the net profit, which has shown a jump over the last 5 years, all the credit once again goes to this largest division of the company. We are very happy that after an interlude of almost 8 years, the company is able to return back to the dividend paying list, and we very humbly acknowledge the faith which the shareholders of the company have shown in us.
However, industry experts believe that the Indian government is of the view that since the economic activity is low due to the COVID-19 outbreak, public sector enterprises of India are not spending enough on the capital expenditure, not as much as they would have anticipated, and hence are sitting on the cash reserves which can be used to pay higher dividends. In other news, bunker fuels demand at the Indian ports is only 1% of the total global demand currently. Majority of the demand comes from defense ships, domestic vessels, coastal vessels, and a small proportion of the international ships calling at the Indian ports. Executive Director of the Indian Port Association, Dr. Abhijit Singh, explained the fuel dynamics.
And in fact, bunkering is permitted, has been permitted round the clock. Some ports like Paradeep and Cochin are at the forefront. In fact, in order to boost the bunkering trade at Indian ports, dedicated bunkering facilities has been planned in Deendayal Port, Paradeep Port and Cochin Port. The major ports, these major ports are offering concessions to attract the bunkering trade. In fact, government has set a vision for maritime sector to promote energy security, Make in India, and zero carbon footprint. In line with this vision, there is a strategic need that major ports may invest in LNG and methanol bunkering facility to comply 0.5% global sulfur cap. Some companies like Petronet and its LNG terminal at Kochi with a capacity of 5 MTPA is first of its kind in South Asia, which is operational and provides a LNG bunkering facility. Kolkata Port Trust has set aside around 10 acres within Haldia Dock Complex, which is a part of wider push to introduce LNG as a bunker for barge. Indian oil companies like IOCL, BPCL are in discussion with the Maharashtra Maritime Board to build LNG bunkering facility in the state. and given its current level of infrastructure, that is LNG refineries, and their geographical position, these ports will most likely to be able to secure a competitive advantage vis-a-vis other Asian ports. There are some issues which affects dynamic of bunkering business in Indian ports, like non-availability of bunkers to the vessels which come and stay, get anchored at off-port limits. In fact, turnaround time of barges which need to be improved. These barges movement are getting delayed due to the non-availability of pilots which are basically engaged in movement of vessel calling at ports. There is also a non-availability of round the clock bunkering operation in most of the ports. There is also a tedious customs clearance required for bunker vessels. There is also a non-availability of international quality of bunkering fuels. We have also received some reportings on substandard bunkering barges, and this encourages kind of all sort of malpractices. According to me, the key factors which greatly impact dynamics of bunkering in India are like though bunkering services are available at major ports, most of the major ports in India, the infrastructure has not been developed in line and in tune with the appropriate requirements of shipping industry. The assessment of this situation in the world and also private initiatives reveal that infrastructure and the standard operating practice has to be put in place very fast. And for developing a bunkering market, India, which hinges on the broad key factors like price competitiveness, infrastructure availability, and procedure efficacy of bunkering operations. There's a lot of pressure across the bunkering industry to increase the efficiency and speed up time in ports. And it's also been a challenge to deliver heavy fuel oil with the safety and efficiently and in compliance with international regulations. And in fact, last but not least, the tax dues on the bunker are to be reduced to provide a competitive platform, improving. In fact, this will improve bunkering profitability, and this can only be achieved by enhancing a sales volume.
In the midst of racking uncertainties of effecting crew changes, some innovative minds are showing that success in crew transfers is possible, although with a lot of quick thinking and agile actions. Jagvinder Singh Gill, Director, Asia World Shipping Pte Limited Singapore and Cruisage Maritime Private Limited India, told Marex how his company managed to pull off a spectacular crew change mission.
It's my delight and honor to share that Cruisage, along with Asia World Shipping and the owners of the vessel MT Royal Orchid, were successful in repatriating our 8 crew members back from Kalimantan to New Delhi, and with the help of the Indian Consulate in Jakarta and our staff based in India, Singapore and Indonesia. It was a difficult task, and I'm extremely grateful to the Indian Consulate who lent a tremendous helping hand in ensuring that all travels and arrangements for the crew went smoothly. Most of all, I like to thank the patient and supportive crew, Captain Sharma, Chief Officer Navdeep, Third Officer Vikas, Third Engineer Raghu, AB Amit, OS Pankaj, Fitter Mangesh, Chief Cook Malkeet, and Chief Engineer Rafael from Ghana, who has to still be repatriated and he will be done soon. Finally, I would sincerely and wholeheartedly thank everyone for all your support and guidance in getting this feat done.
Taking a rapid step into the e-world, the Mumbai-based Maritime Trainers Guild (MTG) has developed a course for training e-trainers. and is to launch the course soon. MDG, an association of several hundred of maritime trainers from across the country as well as from overseas, is headed by its founder president, Captain Prabhat Nigam. Captain Prabhat Nigam spoke to Marex on this context.
We are pleased to announce an e-workshop called Train the E-Trainer this coming weekend on 6th and 7th June. This being in continuation of our web meet held on 26th April titled COVID-19, a challenge and opportunity for maritime education, training, assessment and certification. We had then promised you all that soon we will come out with Train the E-Trainer, and here we are. Friends, this workshop is unique as its entire course is conceptualized by the Guild of Trainers of Maritime Trainers Guild, keeping in mind the requirements of STCW and DGS guidelines. This 2-day basic course is free for all, and it will be delivered by known maritime trainers and professionals. This course will be followed with an advanced course of hands-on training, so do join us and participate in sharing knowledge. Thank you.
Presided over by the Kashti Vibhushan, Mrs. Pratibha Nalin Pandey, the NGO Pratibha Nalin Gramin Mahila Vikas has during this ongoing pandemic lockdown been providing huge support to the poor and the needy residing in Navi Mumbai.
This pandemic lockdown from March 24, 2020 onwards has truly shaken up everyone due to the fact of unprecedented economical inactivity. It is a disappointment of Himalayan proportion for all of us. My children were very much traumatized and worried to see it on TV and social media. We received few telephone calls and hence decided to work for food security for underprivileged people without any favor of discrimination based on any religion and reason, etc. As the hunger does not discriminate at all. We ran kitchen for a few days and provided cooked food, but soon realized that large number of elders, ladies, children and differently able persons were not able to come to our institute kitchen. So our children suggested to distribute dry ration packs directly to the needy doorsteps. We made dry ration packs of about 12 to 15 kgs, and as per the telephone request, our volunteers delivered these packs at individuals' doorstep. A shopkeeper from Dombivli area distributed on our behalf among 35 to 40 families. Once we sent money to his bank account. We also used Paytm transfer to the needy. We found that they are deeply interconnected, marginalized people of our society who have been providing various supply chains services to all of us. For example, in water, electricity, phone and IT, medical sewage and waste management services, which are low income occupations but are backbone of our society. It is a basic fundamental ethical issue.
During these hard times of COVID-19 lockdown across the country, some seafarers are carving out very inspired pathways. Gurvinder Singh, a marine engineer from Yamunanagar, Haryana, along with his wife Kamalpreet Kaur, a chemistry teacher, have put together full body sanitization equipment that can be used in offices, on ships and in hospitals. Gurvinder, who works with MTM Ship Management, has appealed higher government authorities to support his venture.
We got an inspiration when people are losing their life in all over the world due to this coronavirus and economical losses as well. Hence we both are concerned about our India and peoples. So we were working on this system from last 2 months, and finally we made this system and tried out satisfactorily. This system will run automatically basis. When anybody will appear near to it, this will work automatic. There is no need to operate any person for this system. So our full body will get sanitized, and this way the chain will break from with the body and corona. Our idea to install this system in public places, transports, trains, or our ship's gangway, so that everybody who is coming from outside will get full body sanitized and break the chain.
Ship Managers Organization, Intermanager, has put together a league table of crew repatriation that lists successful crew changes. This week, V-Ships tops the list with over 4,200 seafarers repatriated home.
In early March, We Ships 2 had taken a conscious decision to temporarily suspend crew changes as we did not wish our seafarers to be inadvertently exposed to the virus while traveling to or from the ship. Pretty soon it became apparent that the lockdown periods is going to be for an extended period of time, and we at that time embarked on an initiative to ensure that we take every opportunity to do crew changes wherever possible in a safe and compliant manner. We are happy to have achieved the success that we have, but it's only a start. We still have a lot of people who need to be disembarked, and equally those sitting at home need to go back and start working. Every responsible ship owner and manager are doing their best, and we sincerely hope that the governments give us the necessary permissions to carry out the crew changes so that the seafarers, who is an essential key worker, is able to carry out and discharge his duties to support the global economy.
Thank you for watching. See you all next Monday.